And welcome back to another Econ Podcast with Mr. Hagan. On this Econ Podcast, we're going to continue to talk about investing. Before we do, just a reminder that this video is not designed to give investment advice. Its purpose is educational only. This video and other videos in this playlist are designed to teach about different theories of investing. If you want investment advice, please see a professional. Okay, so I want to continue talking about the idea of, sorry about that. I want to continue to talk about the idea of long-term timing. And when we talk about long-term timing, we said in the previous video that there are four basic definitions that we need to know. They are secular bull, which is a long-term uptrend for the market, secular bear, which is a long-term downtrend, cyclical bull, which is a short-term up, cyclical bear, which is a short-term down. So to understand these definitions, we need to see them in use. So let's take a look at a graph that's going to incorporate these definitions. So this is the Dow Jones Industrial Average from the year 1900 to the year 2014. By the way, I get this graph from economicgreenfield.com. And I'm going to use this to identify major market trends over the last 100 and some years. So the first trend I'm going to identify is going to go from right here, from around early 1920s. So that's going to be about right here, until right here, 1929. And what we see here is this is a long run, 9, 10, 11 years, whatever, during the decade of the 1920s, the roaring 20s, that there was a major secular bull market, okay? Secular, long run, up in the market. And you can see right here that major long run up in the market. In 1929, we enter a secular bear market, a long run down market. And of course, this starts in 1929 with the crash and through the Great Depression in the 1930s, and it's going to last until, we could debate where, somewhere in here in the late 40s to 1950. And what you can see is a long run trend. Notice this: the market never gets back to its all-time high during this entire secular bear market. That's part of what defines a secular bear market, is a long period of time where you never get back to this previous high. That's the secular bear market. So you can see the general trend of the market is down. Okay. And so that's going to be a very long secular bear market. That's going to be maybe 15, 16, 17 years, depending on when you mark the end of it. Then in the late 40s, after World War II, to about maybe the late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in here, depending on when you want to call the end of this, we get a major secular bull market. And so the major secular bull market, of course, is the long run trend as the market is going up. That's why we call it a secular bull market. Then starting around late 60s, early 70s, we enter another secular bear market where the market is pretty much sideways for about a decade during the 1970s, probably 12, 13, 14 years, again, depending when you put the beginning and the end of it. But the general trend you can see is that the market really is not achieving any new all-time record highs. It comes up close to the record high, goes back down, comes back up, goes back down. But over that long period of time, you really didn't make any money, okay, if you were just buying and holding over that time period as a secular bear market. And then in 1980, 81, 82, depending when you want to say it started, we enter a new secular bull market, an enormous secular bull market that will go from 1980s, early 80s, until the year 2000. That's up here. So we can obviously see that that's a major bull market right there. Now, we also want to look at the cyclical trends. So those are the major secular trends, the long run trends. Let's take a look at the cyclical trends. Remember, cyclical means short run. So right here, from right here to right here, we get a cyclical bull market. That's a short run up within a long run up. The major trend is going up, and this was a cyclical upward trend inside of that long run upward trend. That's a cyclical bull in a secular bull. Here we have a cyclical bull within a secular bear. That's a short run up during a long run down. Okay, and that's why we're going to call this a counter trend, because the cyclical bull is counter to the long run downward trend. The long run trend was a bear market from here to here. The long run trend is down. The long run trend is down. However, from right here to right here, we get a cyclical bull rally. Okay, we get a cyclical bull rally within the long run bear. That's a cyclical bull in a secular bear. Okay, those are the bulls. Let's look at the short run bears. Here's a cyclical bear within a secular bear. So this is a long run secular bear during the 1970s. The overall trend is down. Okay, but then also inside of that, we get a cyclical bear from right here to right here. We get a short run down within a long run down. That's a cyclical bear within a secular bear. And then finally, we get a cyclical bear within a secular bull. And so now that would be counter trend. We get a short run down within a long run up. So the long run is this long run bull market right here. The market's going up, but from right here to right here, we can see the market went down. That's a cyclical bear within a secular bull, a cyclical bear within a secular bull. Okay, so hopefully that helps you to see these definitions a little bit better. So we have, sorry about that. So we have the, the definitions of these things, but what really matters is when we see it on a graph and we can identify these different movements within a graph. Okay. Now, what's important next is we want to talk about, and we'll do this on an upcoming video, is we want to talk about what are the rules for these long-term timers. How are they going to use this information to try to make money? All right. This has been Mr. Hagan on another Econ podcast. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next Econ podcast.